What is shaking, everybody? Friday. Drew Remenda joins us. He usually joins us on a Wednesday, but travel and all that kind of stuff. So he was nice enough to join us from Seattle on a Friday, talk some Sharks hockey. We'll get into some handicapping and some other stuff. I should let you know that our show today and all Drew's appearances will be sponsored by Fieldwork, the official craft beer, the official non-alcoholic craft beer of the San Jose Shark Tank. I actually have one right here. This is going to be dangerous, Drew, because I love Barry and I love Fieldwork. I've never had this one before.
So it might just be one?
I'm going to try it right now.
Right.
I don't usually drink non-alcoholic beer, but
I've said
for many years, Drew, that I drink beer because of taste. I don't drink it because I want to get buzzed. I just like the taste of beer. So I figured if I can mix in one of these, like I wouldn't sit down on a Saturday and have 4 or 5 of these, but this would be my spacer beer, like just kind of space in between. Yeah. So I space some of the alcohol with this and some water, and then I'm breezing through the day. So I love, and I should tell everybody too that you can get pulp at the Shark Tank too, and that does have alcohol in it. That's their flagship IPA. That's about 7%. That's a really, really good beer. So shall we give this a shot before we
give it a shot on the air? Let's go.
This is like something you could drink because you don't drink, but you could drink non-alcoholic. You could drink non-alcoholic beer, but you don't like beer, so it's not going to do you any good.
No.
All right, let's go ahead and save this thing. Not bad. Not bad. Like not quite my tempo.
Yeah.
But not bad. Like
what would be your tempo?
Like a pale ale. I mean, I drink a lot of pilsners and lagers, but they do have a pilsner non-alcoholic beer. But this is an IPA called Headliner, and yeah, it's just you can pick these up at the Shark Tank. You can pick them up at the Fieldwork location. So no, but it's pretty good. It's actually better than I thought it was going to be.
Nice.
So yeah. If you're into a non-alcoholic beer, then I would suggest you go ahead and you're down at the tank. Which I'll be there. I'm going to be there with Barry on the 16th of December versus the Flames. So
you are?
Yep.
Oh, nice. Hope we give you a better performance against the Flames this time than we did last night.
Well, Drew, look, they've had a few of these games now where they maybe not deserved to win, but they have won. I mean, Florida owned them after about the midway part of the second quarter. Owned them. They end up beating Florida. That was a huge win. Minnesota, you could say that could have gone
two periods, Minnesota was the better team.
Yeah, and so Minnesota, they beat Minnesota. Last night was about as dominant, and I'm going to call it a 1-0 game because they score with 8 seconds left, empty netter. That was as dominant as a 1-0 game can be in the NHL. Like San Jose never had the puck ever. It was like
when they did, we were very when they did, we were very great. We were very gracious and gave it back to the Flames very quickly. In scoring position, but in that game was a check. It was an ego check. Don't be planning the parade route yet, boys. I know you just won 6 of your last 7, but don't be planning the parade route yet because the cliche of any given Sunday or any given night in the National Hockey League, you are going to run up against a team that is going to take it to you. The Sharks were as bad as I've seen them this year as far as puck management, as far as not being able to generate any offense, as far as not being able to close and play defense. Yet still, Macklin Celebrini makes Dustin Wolf from Gilroy, California, have to make an unreal save in the slot or in the crease to be able to. Well, where the hell else would you make a save, Remenda, you dumbass? You're not like you're going to make a save in the corner, but be able to. Sometimes I do that.
I do that all the time. I do that when I'm on a game. I'll say, he passes the basketball or something like that. And I'm like, as opposed to a traffic cone that he might be passing when he's on the court.
Sean Madison, our producer, I'm very literal, and I get mad. Like I don't like.
Yeah.
You can't pre-scout. You're scouting. You can't pre-record. You're recording. You can't pre-sell. You're selling. You can't pre-buy. You're buying. You can't pre-soak. You're soaking. You cannot leave your feet on a body check. You can jump and hit. You can jump. You can hop. You can elevate. You can even
you can leave the ice.
You can leave the ice, but you
can't leave your feet.
Exactly. And midair is another one. Well, what's midair? Yeah, or tripped up. That's a very common one. So every time I check myself or catch myself all the time when I say dumbass things like he made a save in the crease. Well, yeah, that's kind of where it's going to happen. Anyway,
before you continue on, let me give you another one. In football, when they say, "Oh, he caught the ball at its highest point," I'm like, really? I go, that guy can really fucking jump then, can he? He caught it like 35 feet in the air and high pointed it. Like, what are you talking about? He caught it at his highest point, not the ball's highest point. There's nobody in the history of the earth can get the ball at the ball's highest point.
That's good. That's another one. Exactly. Yeah. There's so many things that we say as broadcasters that I try to catch myself now because I hate the fact of, because I will call Sean Madison and I'll just text him stuff in the summers when I hear people do it.
Yeah.
He gets really irritated at me because it's just something I like to do to bug our producer. But
I do it too. But I mean, I think we both realize that look, when it's live, you're going to say stuff that as soon as you say it, you're like, that was stupid. Like, I wish I wouldn't have said that. And it happens to me all the time. I try to be good about letting it go. And then afterwards, I'll be like, okay, that's like, if it's a good broadcast, I don't even care. I move on, don't even pay attention to it. But if there's something I said that's probably gone and vanishes in the ether and nobody else pays attention to, but in my head, I'll be like, God, that was so fucking stupid. But I can't like go on the air and like, I'll miss like a quarter of the action beating myself. Oh, that was so stupid. You're such an asshole. What do you do? What are you talking about? That makes no sense whatsoever.
I do a lot of Captain Obvious things. Like I'll say third period, 5 minutes left. Sharks are up by 1. This is a big penalty kill. Really? Is it? Really? Okay, thanks. That's why you get paid those.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, because I do the same thing with Tim sometime.
Yeah.
And by the way, we're going to talk about you just kind of popping on screen before the third period. Jamal Mayers is doing the game. I didn't even know Drew was there. All of a sudden, Drew's on screen. I'm like, okay, what the fuck just happened? I go, what happened? I go, the color commentator has a different hue now. Both balls, different hue. So,
but nearly as good looking.
But when you're on radio,
yeah,
and you were doing basically radio last night, it's like streaming audio, Sharks Audio Network. It was basically, and I don't know how you do it in hockey, but in basketball, there's just like not a whole lot of time for the color guy to really get in there and talk, which is fine by me. I don't get paid by the word.
Exactly.
But there are times where Tim's talking and he's talking and he's talking. And in my mind, I don't really see anything like worth pointing out. Like it's just kind of like mundane stuff. But I also feel like, I should probably jump in here because Tim's been talking a lot and he's probably like, hey, Tom, fucking baby, feel free. Jump in for a couple seconds here and give me a break. Now, Tim's probably not saying that, but I feel like, I'm kind of there. I probably should say something, even though I don't really have anything like super illuminating to say. I don't know if you feel like that sometimes, like, Randy, Dan, maybe they're like, hey, you're here, you might as well talk.
Well, the great thing about Randy and Danny is they never get tired of talking. They never ever think that I need to jump in. But I'll tell you, when I went to hockey the year, I went to Hockey Night in Canada. I don't know if I've told you this story. So I go to Hockey Night in Canada, and I'm working with Don Whitman, who was one of the great legendary play-by-play men and sports commentators in Canadian history of any sport, curling, track and field, the Olympics, you name it, Don could do it. And then I also got to work with the great Bob Cole. Bob Cole just passed away. Bob Cole's legendary as far as Canadian hockey broadcasting history. Okay, he is the legend. And he was a little older, at that time he was, he's quite a bit older than me, but he was Bob Cole.
Yeah.
As the irreverence, I'm trying to think of a guy in the States that I could compare him to, and really, you would have to compare him to the greats in the States as far as Vin Scully or somebody like
Scully,
that.
Dick Enberg,
yeah,
Costas, guys like that, yeah.
So Bob, the first time I worked with him, I know for a fact I don't belong there, right? So we're in Vancouver, and he would come to Vancouver once a year because you always did the big games in the East. He'd come to Vancouver once a year because his family was there. And I'm working with Bob Cole, and I'm nervous as hell working with him. And because I've heard the stories already that year. So he comes and he goes, Drew, I know you probably heard some stories about me. He said, there's only one thing I want to tell you. Don't be afraid to shut the hell up. And I went, excuse me, Bob? And he goes, you color commentators think as soon as I stop talking, you've got to start talking. You don't. If there's nothing to say, if there's no insight, if you don't have anything smart to say, then just shut up. Let the game breathe. And he said, and I've got face-offs. I went, okay, Bob. Third period, my producer gets in my ear and goes, Drew. I went, yeah. And he goes, now we were just checking to see if you were there because we haven't heard from you today. I said, it's Bob Cole. What do you want me to do? It's Bob Cole. And so the best lesson I ever got, later, his last game that he did on Sportsnet, I happened to be at the game because the Sharks were playing the next game in Edmonton. And I saw him and Mr. Cole, I walked over and said, Mr. Cole, to Remenda, he goes, of course, young man, how are you doing? I said, good. How are you, sir? We had a nice little talk. And I said, this is it, eh? And he said, yeah. And then he said, by the way, you figured it out. And I went, pardon me? And he goes, do you remember? And I said, I remember everything working with you. And I know what you're going to say about shutting up. He went, you figured it out. And I almost cried because I was so touched by it. But finally, I got it right. So I don't mind if I don't have anything insightful to say, I shut up. I like you said, I don't get paid by the word.
Yeah, no, I feel like I should do the same thing, and I do. Yeah. For the most part. But if the ball goes up and down 4 times, I'm like, Jesus, I probably should say something.
You jump in there.
Because Tim's, I in my mind, I'm thinking, Tim's probably like, Jesus, what are you doing over there? You checking your phone? What do we got? We're checking out of town.
So I gotta take this and then I'll be right with you.
Out of town scoreboard? Like, what are we doing over there? But I agree. I agree that we should be able to, and all announcers should let the game breathe. Yeah. As much as possible. Like I don't think there always needs to be a void filled. Yeah. I think you got to treat fans as smarter than that. I used to hate when I was working for ESPN, and after like a foul or something, they'd show a highlight, and it'd be a highlight of somebody catching the ball, one dribble layup.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck you want me to say about that?
Yeah.
The fucking layup.
Yeah.
Like a 7-year-old could do that. Yeah. You kidding me? I mean, what's special about it? Like, what could I add to this?
Right.
That makes somebody sense. And I'm not the color commentator that thinks I need to teach everybody something every time.
Yeah, I am. I'm
doing a broadcast. See, I'm the guy that wants to entertain everybody. Right. I want to make you laugh a little bit. But I figure if I'm doing what I should be doing, there may be things that I point out that you might go, oh, that's mildly interesting. But there's nothing I can point out on that layup that's mildly interesting, mildly entertaining, or mildly insightful. It's just nothing. It's like, here, you drop this piece of shit on my plate. Go ahead and figure it out. Like, make a meal out of it. All right. Anyway, let's get back to we got sidetracked for a minute. Let's get back to the game. So. I know exactly where we left off.
Yeah.
We left off Celebrini, shots in the crease, of course, in the crease, not outside the crease, and he made those saves.
Yeah, Dustin Wolf.
But other than that, it was like a big fat 0.
Yeah, it was all.
Oh, and by the way, it could have been 0-0, Drew, at the end of the game if Dickinson hadn't just flat out turned the puck over, and it could have been 2-0 when Orlov turned the puck over in his own hand. I was like,
And then
golly, what are we doing here?
Orlov turns the puck over, and then the one in the first period, he had a really nice deflection on Askarov as well in front of his own net. Like right, and Askey had to make a great save there. If they just were bad, I mean, the goal was a microcosm of how the Sharks played that day. Just Kucherov, we don't have him. Kurashev and Dickinson, they're coming to the puck, and it's talk. It's like a guy for a fly ball. I got it.
Yep.
Well, yeah, and nobody did anything, and they just went, "Here, you take it. No, you take it." Boom, and then Coleman said, "I'll take it," and
I'll take it
upstairs. So yeah, it was a kind of a microcosm of how poorly they prepared or played that game and were focused on that game. So again, like I said, that's a great reality check. That's what this league does. That's what pro sports does every day.
Yep. No, I mean, to me, it was a blip because they've been playing such good hockey, and I just don't know that they were ready. To your point, for what Calgary was going to bring to the ice at night, because Calgary's been struggling. Calgary needs a win. Like they're like, hey, god dang, they're like already in desperation mode, like trying to get a win. So, but other than that, I mean, the way they played, I do want to talk about Askarov though, because
I looked for you for Askarov. We got it last night. So
it better not be what I'm going to tell you, because I spent 45 seconds looking this up, and if you take it from me, then I'm going to be mad.
You go first then.
Okay, last 5 games, he's faced 171 shots and stopped 166 of them for a save percentage of 97%.
Right. So in that,
is that what you were going to say?
I'm going to add to that. So this is good broadcasting. Okay, one guy says something, and then the color commentator adds to it to give it a little bit more depth. Since they've been keeping track of save percentages in 1955-56, Yaroslav Askarov is the only goalie to have a .971 save percentage, that high of a save percentage, without posting a shutout. That's some hockey right there. That's some
wow.
And we were worried about Askarov. We were worried about Askarov the way he played the first few games. Kelly Rudy, who does the broadcasting at Hockey Night in Canada and former Shark goalie and who does the Calgary broadcast as well, came and talked to me before. He said, "Tell you the truth," he said, "those first couple games, I was worried about your goaltending." He says, "Not anymore." He said, "Those two are playing well. Nedeljkovic is playing well."
Yeah, he is.
Along with Yaroslav. But Yaroslav, he's the guy. We talked about that last time we talked, I think. Like, he is the guy. This is the guy the future is depending on for the San Jose Sharks. And after having a little bit of a rough start, Ryan Warsofsky was asked about him. And he said, first off, back when he was asked about him, I think it was Minnesota, he said, first off, he's played less than 20 games in the National Hockey League at that point. I think he's only played 24, 25 games total in the National Hockey League to this point, maybe a little bit more. He said, he's only 23. We haven't played great in front of him. Yeah, he's let in some goals that haven't been great, but we believe in him. The team believes in him. We know he's going to be that guy. If you look at his numbers in the AHL, he can't go back to the AHL because he won't learn anything, won't get better because he's just too good for that league. That's why we have the AHL, so you can develop guys to play in the NHL. And now he's taken it, and he's kind of got that. He's got great swagger, right? He's got a smile.
I like him. What game was it that you interviewed him after the game? Was that the Florida game? The Florida game. I mean, he's kind of a goofball, and I love that. I think a goalie probably should be a little goofy because you're nuts anyway to face 100-mile-an-hour slap shots. Like who does that willingly? It's like, yeah, I'll do that. I'm good. Yeah, so I think you got to be fun. A little messed up in the head, a little goofy. And I think he is a little goofy, and I kind of like that. Yeah. It was funny. You asked him one question, like, all right, that's enough, see it.
I didn't even ask him. First of all,
that's right, you didn't ask.
I put the microphone in front of him, and I said, how's that feel, pal? And he goes, Sharks fans, I can't hear you. I can't. And they start cheering, they go nuts. And then I said, yeah, well, how does that make you feel? That was the question. How does that make you feel? And he talks about the Sharks fans, he loves it, and everything else. He goes on. And like, what am I gonna do? Pull a Joe Rogan and keep talking to the guy about, after he's been knocked out or won the championship and keep probing him for questions? No, you just go. I looked at him and said, I got nothing. Way to go, man! Congratulations, and that was it. That's what you do. So he was being like,
well, it should have been expected, Drew, that a guy with the weight of those expectations comes in, and the game might be moving a little fast.
Yeah,
just because he's young, he hasn't faced his competition before, and he has the expectations. And look, he's probably going to have some more bumps down the road. He's just to put it in context for everybody. Dominic Hasek has the all-time save percentage. It's at 92, like 92.3. 97 is like you may lose 3 games the rest of the year.
Yeah,
you're gonna have a 97. It's out of this world. So that's how good he's been playing. So it's not going to continue like this, and he's going to have some bumps because he's young. But you can tell he's like the game slowed down for him, found his footing a little bit, and the team around him has been better defensively. So I think any worries that had, so at least to now, you look at it and go, okay, that's the guy we thought we were getting.
100%. Yeah, and he is that guy. What I love about goaltending. My father was a goalie in the old Western League in Canada way back in the day, back when they played without masks. And my brother was a goalie, and you live with goalies, and you, like you said, you realize they're a tad strange. I'm not sure why anybody volunteers. I asked my dad though when I was little, I wanted to play goal. He went, "Nope, no, you can't. You're not playing goal. Your brother plays goal. I play goal. You're not playing goal." I went, okay, and so I was a really bad right winger. But when they work at it now, you look at the Sharks and what they've done with goaltending. It's a goaltending. Like Devin Cooley, who plays for the Flames and is from San Jose, California, played for the Sharks a couple of years ago. He talked about working with Yevgeny Nabokov and Thomas Spear and Askey and all the goalies that we had there. He said the goaltender situation with the Sharks from the organization point of view, we've got Yevgeny Nabokov, the best Sharks goalie to date. You've got Ryan Miller, who played in the National Hockey League. He's a great goaltender. Didn't win a cup, but was one of the top U.S. goaltenders ever. You've got Thomas Spear, who is widely considered one of the best goaltender coaches in the world. And then you've got them all working together to work with the goaltenders. Like, development is key with the Sharks and their goaltending. And the goaltenders love it, because back when I was coaching, it was, you know who the goalie coach, I told you, the goalie coach was me. It was Jeff Hackett.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you're facing 40-mile-an-hour slap shots, and then you go to the NHL and there's 80 miles an hour. That's not a very good situation for you. So, and I didn't know anything about goaltending besides you should try to stop that one.
Get in front of it.
Exactly. So now you've got guys who are the game's developed to a point now where coaching is and getting in and talking to the goaltenders and getting them on the ice and working on things and watching video is really important. It used to be that you never talked to goalies. I'm not talking. Daryl Sutter. I'm not talking to them. I'm only going to screw them up. Why would I talk to them? You just, that's now they put the work in. And that's what Askarof's done. He just got himself better. And it's because of the Sharks organization, the way that they have approached now every single position in coaching. Tommy, when I was coaching, we had 3 coaches on the ice. Sometimes 2, because sometimes I was upstairs doing video and I didn't have time to go. You know how many coaches they have now? 7.
Yeah, doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Just like hoops.
Yeah. There's more specialized coaching going on, and that's why I think maybe the goalies were able to recover from their rough start.
Yeah. Skinner. What was the story last night, and is he going to be on the shelf long, or it's not good?
He was in a walking boot last night.
Okay.
That was ugly. I thought Jamal Mayers brought up a point. I thought maybe it was the way that the foot went up like that. Maybe I thought it was just a ruptured Achilles, but I don't know. They haven't said anything. You know how they are in the National Hockey League.
Oh yeah, lower body, upper body
injury. Thanks, Matt. I appreciate that. Yep. But he was in a walking boot last night, and I admired the hell out of him as he was down there, and you knew he was in pain, and he tried to work his way off the ice like that. He's a pro, but he's going to be. I think he's going to be out for a while, but. I thought
Yeah.
Reeves was going to be out for a while. What the hell do I know?
Was it my imagination, or did they split up Smith and Celebrini at the end of the game?
That's
And if
because
so, were they trying to? Is that because Skinner?
Because Skinner was out, so he just kept double shifting Mac. He just kept rolling Mac out there as much as he could. But honestly, Smitty didn't have a great game last night. He gave the puck away a lot. There's stand in line.
Yeah, it was definitely a giveaway factory last night. I mean, without a doubt.
It's like Jeremy Roenick in warm up.
What's that story? What's the Jeremy Roenick in warm up story?
He would spend more time flipping pucks to the crowd, picking him up and throwing him to
the
kids. Yeah, than he would actually warming up. By the time warm up was over, there's like 5 pucks left for the guys because he was here. It was great.
Man of the people.
Great dude.
Great love JR.
Love him. Love him.
I mean, I love watching Roenick play just because he was really good. Yeah. And he was kind of a badass too. Yeah. Like he got in there and mixed it up, and you could fight every once in a while. Like he could handle himself.
I argue, and we don't talk about it enough. That Game 7 performance against Calgary in San Jose, after the Sharks lost Game 6 in the playoffs, that Game 7 performance, I think he got 2+1, was one of the best Game 7 performances of all time by an individual for the San Jose Sharks. It was incredible. And then on the bench, when they knew he was going to win, we had him on the bench. He was like, he couldn't wait to get out there. Great performance. Yeah.
Classic. All right, so tell me a little bit. And you talked to him. For those who don't know, didn't get a chance to watch the game last night. Jamal Mayers was doing the color along with Randy, and Drew was down with Dan doing the Sharks audio network. Yeah. And then I didn't know that. I just thought maybe Drew had the night off. And then Drew pops up before the third period. I'm like, where the hell did Drew come from? Well, he's watching the game just as a fan, just popped in there to talk. But he came in to talk about Joe Thornton and his Hall of Fame induction. And I guess when you guys were at Minnesota, St. Cloud had something for him, and you guys were invited to that, and you went to that. I don't know if it was Hall of Fame. Just tell me what it was, where it was, and all I know, I remember you said Sweet Dougie Gilmore was there, which I thought was pretty cool. I remember him and Wendell Clark, pretty good tandem there for the old Maple Leafs. But tell me about that whole event, what it was like, and Joe inviting you guys there, just the whole vibe of it.
So Joe has always been, if you're part of it, you're part of the team, you're on the team. He was since day one, he did that. And so for this, and Joe's smart. I mean, Joe's more worldly than a lot of these young players coming in. Well, a lot of players coming. Joe realizes that every organization has people that you don't talk about, you don't see, you don't hear about, that do a large majority of the work to make things work. Like Rosemary Cabaldi, who runs the office, and the hockey operations people. Without Rosemary, I don't think we could ice a team, especially all the moves that Mike Gurr's been making. Rosemary's handling all that. Ryan Sten, who does all our travel and does books everything for everybody, even when you're not traveling with a team, he's doing it. Mike Aldrich, equipment. Royce Neesby, who drives the equipment truck and then takes care of the visiting team. The Peon broadcasters, the Diva broadcasters. And Joe invited all of us to come. And the Sharks generously said, we got it. You guys we'll book your flights. We'll do everything. We got it. So that was, for us, it was really touching. And I've never been to a Hall of Fame induction ceremony.
And where was it, Drew?
At the Hockey Hall of Fame in Toronto.
Okay.
And if you like hockey, folks, the Hockey Hall of Fame is absolutely amazing. And so you start by going downstairs into the Hockey Hall of Fame. And it's just a gathering for a couple hours before the actual induction ceremony starts upstairs. And you're walking by Hall of Famers everywhere. Like Dougie Gilmore. I've known Dougie for a while from the Calgary days when I was working for Hockey Canada. I did some work for the Flames as well. All of a sudden I get this big guy, this grab around the back, and it's Dougie, and we're talking. The Killers looks fantastic. But then Serge Savard walks by, Paul Coffey, Yari Curry, Billy Smith. Wow. Billy Smith,
Oh,
great Islander goalie. Randy and I are watching the speeches. Billy Smith comes over and goes, "Hey, boys." And I said, "Billy, how are you?" And what I've talked about in my second year in the National Hockey League we were playing the Islanders at Nassau County Coliseum, and right across the parking lot is the Marriott where everybody stayed. And after the game, I'm standing in the lobby, and there's a bar that everybody goes to in the Marriott. And Billy comes over, and I introduce myself, and we talk. And he goes, "Come on, let's go in and have a couple of beers." And I said, "Well, I don't drink." Billy, he goes, "Well, I do. Come on, let's go." And so we go in the bar, and we're talking about the Islanders and everything else. He goes, "Where are you from?" I told him Saskatchewan. He goes, "Oh, geez, Saskatchewan guy. We got Bobby Bourne. We got Clark Gillies." He goes, our top scout is from Saskatoon. I went, "I know. His name is Jerry Eamon." I said, "He plays hockey with my dad, played hockey with my dad." And I said, at the time, my best friend and roommate dated his daughter. And he went, "See, how many people are in Saskatchewan? 5, 6? What is it?" And he's such a great dude. So we talked, and you see all these Hall of Famers and then all these hockey
now,
people.
when you saw him, Drew, did he whack you across the shins?
No, he didn't, which was really nice. But he did give me a little elbow when I came into it. So, but it was really nice. And I'm a guy, as you know, the older I get, the less I like being around crowds. We had some great couples from San Jose came, like 4 or 5 couples from San Jose flew in because you can $500. You can come into $500.
Wow.
Canadian. So, and you come in and they were there. It was really nice. And then when the induction ceremony starts, people go upstairs. I didn't know that your ticket can get you upstairs or cannot, or keeps you downstairs. I had to keep some downstairs ticket, which was fine with me because sitting in there and listening to those speeches, with the exception of Joe's, and McGillney's, that was fine with me. And then at the end, they leave and you hang out for a little while and then go back to your hotels. But it was really amazing because there were so many people that came because of Joe. The St. Thomas Mafia, where he's from. I mean, every time I turned around, "Hey," said, "Hey, you're the Sharks broadcaster." I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Yeah." I said, "What are you guys here for Joe?" And they said, "Yeah, absolutely. We're from St. Thomas." I said, "I know, because I met a bunch of you all over there." It was great. And the thing that you realize is that how regular people these superstars that you've watched for years are. They're just really good at hockey, but they're nice people. There's Brian Burke was there. Billy McCreary, referee, was there. Billy McCreary's terrific guy, and he's one of the few referees who actually talks to me. He's a Hockey Hall of Famer. It was just a really nice night, and what meant the world to us is that Joe thought of us, and that's Joe.
Yeah.
That's Jumbo. So that was nice. Then after that, we didn't do the game in St. Paul. They had a thing for Jumbo, but I went home to Saskatoon to see my boys because, I'm the type of dad who in September goes out for cigarettes and never comes back. So that's not my line. It's my son Davis's line. My son Davis said to me, he says it every year after he got a surgery. Davis goes, this September, he goes, "When are you going for cigarettes?" And I turned and looked, I went, "What?" He goes, "When are you going for cigarettes?" I went, "Oh." I said, "Thursday." He goes, "All right." And he goes, "Be seeing you, I guess."
See ya.
So I went home, saw the boys, and then met the team in Calgary last night. And so Randy went home to Edmonton to see the family, and then he got to Calgary. Great. Yeah. But the Jamal thing back and forth is they started it quite a few years ago. Whoever was up on the Sharks Audio Network would switch in the second and third just to bring their perspective.
Oh, okay.
I've argued against it as much as I can. I can't get out of it though. I've argued it from when I'm doing the audio network perspective. I just said, what they see me 70 times or 68 times a year, so they don't just that. But last night we got talking about Jumbo, so that was
no, exactly.
Yeah.
And look, Joe should go in the Hall of Fame. His beard should go in the Hall of Fame.
Oh my gosh,
that thing is the most glorious facial hair I think I've ever seen. I mean, not only is it just perfect, it's like dense, thick.
It's got the 2 stripes.
The 2 stripes are what makes it.
Yeah.
Like the two stripes are just perfect coming down. I mean, it just like if you wanted a beard, that's what you'd ask for. Like I'd like to have Joe Thornton's beard.
Yeah.
Like I want that one. The one you don't want is the
mine.
Brent Burns beard.
Oh my gosh.
You don't want the Brent Burns beard.
Like, too stringy.
Like I said, look, it wouldn't surprise me if Burns during a shift reached in there and there was a chicken wing stuck in his beard. I go, that's what that beard is. That is a straight hobo beard, like where popcorn's in it. There's popcorn in it. His wallet's in his beard. It's just kind of dirty. And
what's
Joe's like
Gene Hackman in Unforgiven when he said to Richard Harris that why he shaved his beard. Because I was tasting the soup I had for lunch like 5 hours later. Something like that. Yeah. That's Burns.
That's Burns. I mean, but it fit Burns. It like totally fit Burns. Like Joe's beard is regal. Yes. Like that's a regal beard, right?
Yeah.
And then Burns is maybe the beard of a serf, maybe a peasant or it's just straggly and
it's Burnsy.
Just, it
is Burnsy.
But it's totally Burnsy.
Yeah. The other cool thing was for Joe's Michael Haley was there. Rafi Torres was there. We talk about who Joe played with, but he knew how important Michael Haley and Rafi Torres are. Doug Murray came from Sweden, said to his wife, honey, it might be my only chance to do this. And they were very close. Douglas Murray was very close there. Douglas Murray's, such a wonderful guy.
Yeah.
Joe Pavelski came. Patty Marlowe was there.
Nice.
The guys, Logan Couture was there. The guys that were a huge part of the San Jose Sharks. Ryan Clough, of course, a huge part of the San Jose Sharks, and were so close with Joe, they wouldn't miss it, And I got a little melancholy when I saw them all together. There's a great picture that we had, and we had them all together, and I got a little melancholy because, man, we were good back then. We were so good and should have. Well, you should have. We didn't deserve to. Nobody deserves it. You earn it.
Nobody deserves. That's another line from The Unforgiven.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, deserves got
nothing to do with it, kid.
One of my favorite lines in the
deserves got nothing to do with it, kid.
And then he kills Gene Hackman. It's fantastic. Yep. I love that movie. Yeah,
exactly.
Sorry if I spoiled it for you. Sorry.
But that's I think it's okay. Yeah. It's over 20 years now. Now they remind me of the Cavaliers. Yeah. One of the best teams I've ever seen to not win a championship.
Yeah, but it's great that those guys. It just shows you how much Joe meant to that team. And I said on an interview that when they asked me about Joe Thornton, there's not been a guy in my remembrance in the National Hockey League who has changed a franchise like Joe Thornton changed our franchise.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah.
Did somebody stand up during his speech and go, shoot it? No. Shoot it more. He told me one time, he goes, my wife even tells me that. He goes, I get sick of people telling me to shoot the puck more.
So remember in Vancouver, we lost to Vancouver. Then the next year we beat him 4 straight. But the game we beat them with the fourth game, we beat him. Patty Marlowe scores on the rebound on a shot from Joe Thornton. Okay, in San Jose. And that was the game where he kept poking Henrik Sedin in the nose when he was talking to the. Remember, they were both talking to the ref,
right.
And he's poking him in the nose, just pretending he's pointing somewhere where the face-off is going to be. The funniest damn things ever. And Henrik, being Henrik, is such a gentleman about it. He just kept stop it. Stop it like you do with a cat. Stop it. But Jumbo shoots the puck, rebound, boom. I go downstairs after the dressing room, and one of the first things he says to me, I'm walking in just to say congratulations, buddy, and he goes, hey, are you happy now? I shot the puck. Are you happy now? I said, yeah, I'm happy now. That's him, though. He understands that, I don't shoot it. I pass the puck. That's why I've got 1 billion assists in the DB hockey database. And you see all the assists, you go, yeah, okay, I guess he knew what he was doing.
Yeah. I mean, I won't put him in the same category as Nikola Jokic, but he's because Jokic is a superstar that would rather pass.
Yeah.
Now they're different because Jokic scores 28 a game too. He pretty much just does everything. But there are certain guys that that's the way they're wired. And that's the way Joe was wired.
Yeah.
And I think everybody just thought, well, look, this is one of the best hockey players on the planet. Look how big he is. Look at the space he could carve out. Why doesn't he get the puck to the net more? And the more you watched, I mean, it didn't take long to realize that's not who he was. That's not who he is. He was more like Steve Nash. He was wired to pass the puck. He had a unique ability, like Gretzky, to see that open ice and know where guys were going to be and give it to him there. But he just didn't. And he wasn't wired that way. He was wired to get other people quality looks at the net rather than force it himself.
Yeah,
just the way it is.
Yeah, and that pass to Patty Marleau in Dallas, the behind the back from the boards to the back.
I know that was
one of the greatest passes I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
one of the greatest ever.
I have a feeling Celebrini's probably gonna have quite a few like that before he's all done. It's so funny you bring up Billy Smith. For those people that don't know who Billy Smith is, goaltender for the Islanders. And if you want to see how hockey's changed a little bit, go back and look at highlights of people getting in the crease when Billy Smith was the goaltender. And that's the reason I brought up when I told Drew, did he whack you in the shins? Billy Smith used to beat the shit out of people. Like, if you wanted to go, those were like, they say, oh, these guys go to the tough areas. They go to the tough areas. And I'm always like, they don't know what tough areas are. Go to the crease when Billy Smith was goaltending. That was a tough area. That's like going down the alley of Compton. Like, that's rough. Like, you don't want to be in that neighborhood.
Can you see this? Wait a minute.
Yes.
That's a guy coming in the crease, and Billy Smith is decking him. He's not taking it. He's decking him.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's fantastic. He's that's and if you would come around the net against Billy, he would go post to post and then swing his stick.
Yes.
Like that's why you said, did he take your legs out? Would he, yeah.
So brutal.
The first move would be his blocker and the stick coming across. So you were getting in the pads, sometimes a little bit higher, and rest were like, yeah, whatever. What do you want me to do? Yeah. Crazy.
It was just absurd.
Yeah.
Just absurd.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right. So you got the Kraken tonight?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow night.
Yeah. Tomorrow we'll play them,
Kraken.
play the Kraken. And then go home, and then Utah and LA. And we're going to have the LA night is, and not the wrestler, not WWS, the wrestler. LA night.
That's a Joe Thornton.
That's the Joe Thornton
night, right?
Yeah. And it's going to be great. So it's fantastic. And then we're in it now, kind of thing. And to beat, when you look at the game, you said it. The game has a way of just equaling you out, giving you that humility check that you need. It will be interesting to watch now. The last few years, when the Sharks have had a stinker, they've followed up with another stinker.
Yeah,
their response is going to be very interesting. Todd McClellan used to say, and he got it from Jacques Lemaire when he worked for Jacques Lemaire in the Minnesota organization. Jacques Lemaire used to say, when you're winning or when you're losing, your game starts to get better before you start winning. And when you're winning, your game starts to get sick before you start losing. So the last two games, maybe three, even when you talk about that Florida game, the goaltending is what has won it for the San Jose Sharks. So the Winnipeg game, I thought the Sharks were right on it. I thought they were bang on. They played a very hard, heavy game against a very hard, heavy team. And now you've won three. You won three that were, you had to bounce back in the third. You had to have a response, and then you got some terrific goaltending and fantastic play by Celebrini, and you win those games. Celebrini and others. Sorry, I shouldn't just say Macklin, because Will and Colin and Dickinson and a few other guys just played really well, made key plays. But then your game was getting sick, right? Your game wasn't as good as it should have been. And then last night, even though the score was only 2-0 with an empty netter, you still got it handed to you.
Yeah.
And so now the response after beating this team 6-1 last time you were here, just 10 days ago, let's see what you got. Are you ready to go when the puck drops? Are you ready to play as Mary says, the right way? Get your forecheck going, manage the puck. You might. So we're asked before every game, we have our production meeting, and I'm asked what are the keys to the game. And usually I steal them from the coaches because I ask the coaches, what are the keys to your game tonight?
Yeah.
So I sound smart. Steal from other people to sound smart. I think that's a
Exactly.
logical approach, right?
Yep.
But one of my things is always puck management. It's always puck management, because if you are lousy with the puck, if you give the puck away, if you make soft plays with the puck, if you dump the puck in and it doesn't get past the goaltender, if you're just flipping the puck out of the zone, your chances of winning decrease by 1,000. That's not an actual stat. I just made that up. But when you look at the way that the Sharks played last night and way they've been playing in the last few games, they are not managing the puck properly. And it's not just the guy who has the puck, it's the guys away from the puck as well. You got to get your ass moving and support the puck. So will they be better with that tomorrow? Will they get their forecheck going? Will they be physical? Will they be in their own zone, finish a check, seal a guy off, get the puck, and get it going the other way? Will you be able to maintain pucks in the offensive zone? So they've got a lot of work to do. They're at practice right now, and I think that you won't practice them hard, but you'll certainly be specific about what you want.
No, I think I think you're absolutely right. And then look, there's still we talked about it before the season started. Like, it feels like they're no longer on the ground; they're on the ascent.
Yeah.
But it's still really, really early, and you're talking about, your best players, or at least a handful of your best players, are still really young, and there's going to be some inconsistency with that, even though it doesn't look like Celebrini's all that inconsistent from game to game. He's so good, but that's just the way it is. But you like what you see.
Yeah.
If you can get better, take those steps, who knows where this thing leads.
Yeah.
But I think it's like, okay, day by day, week by week, and just kind of build. And hell, who got beat? Somebody got beat 7-0 last night. I mean, just got absolutely destroyed.
Montreal got beat by.
I mean, it happens.
Yeah.
This wasn't 7-0 though. This is 1-0. It felt like 7-0, but it was 1-0.
Yeah.
So it just, long season stuff like this happens. But the good teams, and I'm not going to say the Sharks are that yet, but when you're good, that's when you bounce back from those. You go, okay, that thing's flush, done. Let's get back to business and play the way we know we can play. So, but it's been fun. Macklin's been incredible. I think the way Askarof's been playing is incredible. Like, that's really, really exciting. Before we let you go, because we don't get to see the whole ice at home. Obviously, the camera follows the puck. How's Dickinson been playing?
He's actually been good. He's actually been really good. Yeah. If you go back and look at, we were going to run it last night, and I was going to do Drew's Clues with that winning goal in Minnesota. He makes 3 really good defensive plays, and then the pass to Macklin Celebrini from behind his own net. Macklin's taken off. He puts it off the boards to Macklin in the neutral zone after Macklin pulled down. Zuccarello got away with one. But the pass was like a quarterback knowing his receiver's getting there, putting the right touch on the ball, throwing it 20 yards ahead of him, knowing his receiver will get under that, make the catch. It was beautiful. So Sam's been really good. Last night, there wasn't anybody that you could look at and went, oh, he was really good tonight. Well, you could for Calgary, you could say a lot of guys were really good for them, but there wasn't anybody in the Sharks that. So Sam had a tough night last night, as did pretty much everybody on the defense, except for Vinny Desharnais. Vinny Desharnais is another one who has been playing really well. He's embracing his role. It's been really good. But Sam's going to be all right. Sam is going to be all right.
That's good.
Yeah.
By the way, Calgary Flames have one of my favorite player names of all time. Can you think who it is?
I'm thinking.
It's an odd name. Like, no, I've never heard anybody with this first name before. And I don't know if he's Swedish or got to be from one of the Nordic countries, I would think. Håkan Lube.
Oh yeah, Håkan Lube, the great Håkan Lube.
Håkan Lube. That name is. I just love that. I love. Like, I was thinking,
what do you think of?
How many Calgary Flames can I think of? And it wasn't a lot. Jerome Ginla, of course, and Dion Phaneuf.
Joe Nieuwendyk, Dougie Gilmore, Al McGinnis, Mike Vernon.
Dougie Gilmore play. I don't remember him with the
Dougie Gilmore
I
was
remember him with
the Stanley Cup team. You got the
they
did trade.
Okay.
Lanny McDonald.
Lanny McDonald.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I know him once you say him.
Yeah.
I know him. but it wasn't like back in the 80s. Like when I was
you could
watching
name
hockey
you could
back in
name
the
all you could
80s.
name all the Oilers because they were that.
Yeah, I can
team.
name the Oilers, but
Yeah.
hockey wasn't on TV back then.
No.
You know, you go see them when they come and play the Kings, and that was about it. And I didn't really become a huge hockey fan or really kind of get into it until probably early 90s when I started like watching the Sharks a little bit when I was playing for the Warriors. Watch Sharks, go to a couple games down at the Palace. But yeah, I'd go to some Kings games and stuff. But I can't remember what was the name of the Marcel Dion and what was the name of the Kings line? The Royal,
the Triple Crown line.
Triple Crown line, yes.
Charlie Simmer, Dave Taylor. Was Dave Taylor? No. Charlie Simmer, Marcel Dion. I got to look it up. Oh, too bad it's not a computer. That's bugging me. I'm going to be really mad at myself.
Yeah, me and my friends always do this. We sit around going, "Hey, what was the name of that so and so?" And then inevitably somebody will say, "God, there's only a way we could find that out."
Yeah, it was Dave Taylor. Yeah, it was Dave Taylor.
Was it Dave Taylor?
Charlie Simmer, Dave Taylor, and Dave Taylor's still in the NHL. He's scouting for St. Louis.
Is he
Charlie
really?
Simmer did broadcasting for Arizona for a while. Married a Playboy Playmate. And Marcel Dion, one of the greatest players of all time.
Marcel Dion was fantastic. Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, my friend, we'll have a great call. Got anything planned for Seattle today?
I went for a walk in the rain already, so no.
Okay. Well, enjoy.
Might go to Nordstrom Rack, see if I can find another suit, which I really need.
Wait, you don't shop at Nordstrom Rack, do you?
Oh yeah, are you kidding me? I'm old
Your
Scottish
suit looks
guy.
good. Your suit looks like.
Yeah, I know what they look like.
You make them look good.
I have a great tailor. That's why.
You make them look good.
Yeah, thank you.
You know, because you're sculpted.
But Randy, Randy's pissing me off though.
Why is that?
Because he lost a lot of weight over the summer. He bought a bunch of new suits, new shirts, and new ties, and he looks really freaking good. And I let him know I'm not happy with him right at the moment. Yeah.
What is he infringing on your corner?
Yeah, that's my thing. He's got hair
good,
and
like
tan.
good looking, well fitted, like
exactly. Good looking older guy. And he's a hair. He's got tan. Stay in your lane. I'm the guy who dresses better, but I'm a little upset right now.
Stay in your lane. And now I know I do. Me and Drew get along so well because Drew's like, "Oh, that guy's never going to be a threat to me when it comes to clothes. I mean, I'll never look bad sitting next to him. Even when I have a vest on, I'll look great." Which is why I let my dog cover me up occasionally when I'm doing the show because no one really needs to look at me at all. Well, have a good day in Seattle, Drew. It's always a lot of fun catching up with you, and we will do it again in a couple weeks.
Okay, buddy. Great seeing you again.
Hello, thanks, Drew.
Hello. All right. See
you, Drew. All right, coming up, Dennis Ranahan's going to join us. I may need to go get another one of those. This is nice, though. I'm going to try the other Fieldwork non-alcoholic beer. I can just sit out here, have a few beers, and then not have to, like, I'm good. Because usually when I come out here and I have a couple beers on a Friday in the afternoon, I'm like, well, crap. Now I only got one or two left. But I try to cap it at 4 even on the weekends. Usually it's 2, but I try to cap it at 4 max. So if I have 2 sitting out here doing the show, which is fun, I like doing the show and having a beer. Now I can just have the non-alcoholic beer during the day, and then I can have my regular beers at night. What do you think about that, Lou? That's good stuff. I see you're super impressed. All right, so let's why don't we do this? Why don't I jump up real quick? It'll take me like 45 seconds. I'm gonna switch out. I'm gonna get the other one. Let's give that one a taste test. That's like a blonde ale or something. We got three, count them, 3 bunny ears, 3 non-alcoholic beverages. And one's like a Pilsner. It's like a 12-ouncer. I want to try that grapefruit then. It's like a blonde grapefruit one. I think it's like a blonde ale. So let's give that a shot and see what that tastes like. But I like this one's fine. Again, if I want to have a full flavored beer, again, when I said not quite my tempo, I was doing a little whiplash. But no, solid. So this will be my my show beer, at least in the beginning. So let me go grab a quick different beverage. and you guys can sit out here and listen to my my fountain. All right, let's give this one a shot. Let's see what this one tastes like. This is called Day Money Grapefruit Blonde. So there you go. Similar can. I like the other one better. This is good, I think. It's good, I think. It's not a ringing endorsement. If you like grapefruit, you're going to like it. Definitely got some. I'm not a huge grapefruit guy, but pretty good. I mean, I'll happily drink it. And then I got the Pilsner to try too. Look at this. I feel like I'm having beer, but I'm not having beer at all. I'm like good to go. I like that. I like it. So Dennis Ranahan will be joining us shortly from Quack's High Sports, pigsfootball.com. No Dr. Bob. Dr. Bob will not be with us today. He will not be with us until the playoffs. He said college basketball, just too much going on. So he'll be with us for the playoffs. Speaking of the college football playoffs, we have, I don't know what we have this year, to be honest with you. I mean, Ohio State and Indiana are the top two teams. Ohio State have they played anybody besides Texas? I mean, don't get me wrong. I think they're good. I think their defense is probably going to be the best unit on the field no matter who they play. Sayan's been pretty good, and they're Ohio State. You know they got receivers. So I think they're the best team in the country. But do I think they're as good as they were last year? Let's see what they do against Michigan. Like they should beat Michigan. They haven't been able to beat Michigan recently. But Ohio State plays UCLA this weekend. That's not going to be competition. They're going to roll right through them. But Indiana, I mean, shoulda, coulda, woulda lost to Penn State. What an incredible catch by, I want to say, was it Cooper? The receiver. I could be wrong on that. Mendoza won the Heisman with that drive, that last drive against Penn State. Should he? I don't know. I don't think it should be clear cut, but Heisman's about moments, about people like watching the games and going, oh my God, that was an incredible moment. And Mendoza wasn't even that great against Penn State. He was okay. But that last drive was something. And that throw was really, the catch was better than the throw. Let's be honest. If you're watching that game, that was an incredible catch to be able to get the feet down. But so Ohio State, let's see, Ohio State is beaten. They beat Texas. Do we know how good Texas is? They play Georgia this weekend. So we're going to find out kind of where Texas is. I mean, Texas struggled beating Mississippi State. They played really well against Vandy until the end, but they had to hang on to win that game. So Texas beats Ohio State beats Texas. They crush Grambling State 37-9 against Ohio. At Washington, I thought was a pretty good win. Minnesota, Illinois by 18. Illinois is not bad. Wisconsin, Penn State was just, that was after Aller got hurt. Purdue, then UCLA, then Rutgers and Michigan. So I don't know. Like, Bama's beaten some really good teams, but Bama hasn't been that impressive. Like, they win, but so what do you value more? Do you value dominant victories against teams that maybe aren't the best? or do you value tough competition where maybe you don't look great? Like Alabama could have easily lost at South Carolina. Alabama, I mean, they looked okay against LSU. It wasn't special against LSU, and LSU's been kind of a train wreck this year. So I don't know. And look, I said this last year. I'm all in for the playoffs. Like, I like the playoffs. I'm glad we have the playoffs. We never needed 12 teams. Ever. We barely needed 4 teams in college football playoffs. There were years in the college football playoffs where we needed 2 teams. Then sometimes 3. And occasionally maybe you need 4. But how many blowouts did we get in the first round of the college football playoffs when there were 4 teams? A lot. So 12 we never needed. But it's better than a meaningless bowl game where guys aren't going to play. At least you get more games where teams are going to play their guys. And guys want to play because it's the playoffs. Even though the games weren't close last year, it's still better than having a meaningless random bowl game. Like, look, you got a couple good games. Texas ASU was a really good game. Notre Dame Penn State was a really good game. Texas Ohio State. But the first round, it wasn't very good. Penn State crushed SMU. Notre Dame crushed Indiana. I want to say the only good game was that Texas-Arizona State, or that might have been the second round. I'd have to go back and look at all the first round games from last year, but I know they weren't good. And everybody was bitching and moaning. I was like, what did you think was going to happen? What did you think was going to happen when 4 teams is plenty? And now we have 5 through 12. Not surprising, but whatever. That's fine. I'm okay with it. I'm again, it's better than a meaningless bowl game. But I don't know who's going to be the team this year. I don't know who. Ohio State's probably the best team. They're going to play Indiana in the Big Ten championship game. Is it Bama? Is it Texas A&M? Notre Dame's been playing good, but the 2 best teams they played, they lost to. They lost to Miami in Miami. They lost to A&M at home. Then you have Alabama, who I thought the loss to Florida State would age better than it has. It hasn't aged well at all. But they continue to play ranked teams and continue to win. So that's a big one. I think Georgia is solid. Although with Gunnar Stockton and the defense isn't normally what it is, could you see Georgia winning a couple games? Yeah, I could. This year, I could probably see 5 or 6 teams maybe sneaking in there. How good's Oregon? Oregon looked good early. That Penn State win hasn't aged all that well. It was a really gritty win that they had at Iowa. So I don't know. It'd be kind of interesting this year too, though, because I don't know that there's a team out there that I look at and say that team is clearly the best team in the country. I don't think we have that. So the playoffs ought to be interesting, but it probably end up being blowouts in the first round. All right, let's go to, I think Dennis has joined us from Quackseye Sports, pigsfootball.com. Hello, Dennis.
Hey, how you doing, Tom?
Good to see you last night. I'm glad your book signing went well. A nice crowd out there.
It was a good crowd, and thank you very much for being there. It's I always appreciate everything we do together. I think you're one of those quality individuals that people, if they knew you off the set and knew how you treated your family and were such a great husband and father, they'd appreciate even more than your banter on the air. And so my appreciation for you attending last night again, Tom.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. But again, I think American standards are at a level now where they'll accept anything. So, but I'll take it. I'll gladly take the acceptance. All right, let's see if we get some winners this week. I've come up with 2 that I found intriguing that I kind of want to pull the trigger on. I want to talk to you and see what your thoughts are. The first one is Cleveland at home against Baltimore. Cleveland's been really competitive at home this year. They've beaten the Packers at home in a game maybe they didn't deserve to win, but they hung in there long enough for something good to happen at the end of the game, so they did win the game. They lose to Minnesota, but lose by 4 in that game. I forget, I had it written down, but I left it somewhere. But I think they've lost by 4, and that's the most they've lost by at home. And they've also won a couple times at home. They killed the Dolphins at home, but big deal. Baltimore, on the other hand, I still think the defense is just okay. And now they're going on the road. Not that the Browns are a juggernaut by any means, although Quinshon Judkins has been pretty good for him out of the backfield. And Gabriel's been okay. And the defense has been stellar. Now they're missing 3 starters, possibly. They're missing their defensive end, right? Denzel Ward's a guy that may not play, and then the defensive tackle Collins may not play. So I might want to look into that closer we get to game time. But the offense, Dennis, I didn't think looked great for Baltimore last week. Apparently Lamar Jackson's dealing with a banged-up knee, which maybe takes some of the running out of the equation, which I think is huge for that offense. I like Cleveland at home, division game, getting over a touchdown against a team whose defense still I don't trust to shut teams down. And to be quite honest, the offense that I don't think is nearly as explosive as it was to start the season when everybody was healthy. How do you see that one?
Well, first of all, as we know, Baltimore started the season 1-5. And that one win was over Cleveland. I think the score was 41-10. And as you say, okay, that's Cleveland on the road where they have more trouble. My concern now, going against Baltimore, even though last week they were challenged a bit, that was a real tough spot for them. In Minnesota, Vikings, the underdog, and all that stuff, and yet they handled it. They got the job done. And they were in Minnesota last week. I got that right, don't I?
Yep. Yep, you do.
And so in that situation, they still were able to win and cover in what I think was a tough spot. Now they go home to play Cleveland. They beat Cleveland last year 35-10 to close out the season. They beat them this year 41-10.
Now they're at Cleveland.
Yeah, tomorrow though. Yeah, they're at Cleveland.
No, Sunday at Cleveland. Yeah, you said go home. Yeah, I wouldn't bet them if they were in Baltimore. I'm only betting.
No. I may have said go home, but I do know where they're playing. I don't know a lot of stuff, Tom, but I do know where the Ravens and Cleveland.
They're going home and then going to Baltimore and then going to Cleveland.
Yeah. The first game was in Baltimore, the 41-10 game. So now we're in a situation where Cleveland at home has had more success, but not against Baltimore. Not against Baltimore, not in this spot. What we've got now is the Ravens, who, after a 1-5 start, I think fall into that same category that the Rams were in last year, when they started 1-4 and then went ahead and won the division with just you can't take any more prisoners along the way. You know that every game matters. If Cleveland was coming into this game 8-2 or something, and had a lead in their division, okay, this is the kind of game you might let slip away. But still, in their division, chasing, Pittsburgh, they're in a situation where I don't see them having a letdown. I would not bet against Cleveland. And I think the idea that Lamar Jackson does have a knee that kept him in limited practices this week, but as Harbaugh said today, he is going to start. I think they'll handle him. And I think any kind of a tweak they have against Harbaugh, we're concerned that, his leg might be an issue or something else, is actually feeds the motivation of Baltimore, that they're going to have to do whatever they're going to have. No, I think Baltimore wins this game, and I think they cover the spread.
Wow. Baltimore could be a play for you guys?
It could be a play for us.
Okay. God, we may have our first go against this year. We may have our first Okay, one other one that I looked at that I find kind of interesting. And this isn't so much on the field. It's more, do I think the Kansas City Chiefs are going to fall 3.5 games behind the Denver Broncos? Look, I could go into Denver's offense has struggled this year. Bo Nix hasn't been quite as good this year. Denver's defense has been fine. I think Surtain might be out. They're incredible when it comes to getting pressure on the quarterback, sacking the quarterback. I think some of that could be mitigated by the Chiefs line and just the veteran savvy of Patrick Mahomes and his ability to run. Now that Rashee Rice is there, he's got a full complement of weapons. Pacheco's been okay. The running game's been okay. And they have a really good defense too. But to me, it's the line, Dennis. It's like, wait a minute. Why is a team that's 5-4, 3.5, 4-point favorites over a team that's 7-2, and a tough place to play at that? Mile High is not an easy place to play. But I can't for the life of me envision the Chiefs. It'll be over. Like if the Chiefs lose this game, Dennis, they're not winning the division. They may not win it anyway, but they're not winning it if they lose this weekend in Denver. That is over, and they're going to have to find a way to scramble for a wild card spot, which isn't guaranteed after this game. Again, if Denver were playing better, I might think differently about it. And they've been playing good enough, but I just think this is Kansas City. I think it's Kansas City for a number of different reasons, but mostly I just think Kansas City understands the implications of a loss there.
Well, you know how much I like to disagree with you.
Okay.
Not going to happen here. Not going to happen here. We got a situation where, really, you think that Kansas City Chiefs are going to fall 3 games necessarily, practically behind the Denver Broncos, and you've got Denver's defense playing great, but their offense is very suspect. And so now you put that bad offense against the good Kansas City defense, and you counter that with the good great Denver defense against Mahomes in a must-win game where he's 36-6 in division games. I think that's the number. It's off the top of my head, but I think that's what it is. 36 is like that. That's the flavor of it. And so we've got Patrick Mahomes needing a win. Don't bet against Patrick Mahomes when he needs a win. And so, the line in Denver, 3.5. I'm on a full-out watch for the 3. And as soon as I find a 3, I'm hitting it until I move the line back to 3.5, because that's the number. If we can get that down to 3, we'll hammer it. It might go to 4, and we'll take the 4. We'll lay the 4 if it's necessary. It looks to me like 3.5 is going to be the most prevalent line, and that's going to hold through game day. Denver. Listen. Kansas City is going to score on any defense this week. It just happens to be Denver's. Yeah,
and the guys just put a stat down there, and I forgot about that stat too. Andy Reid, 22-4 coming off a bye in his career.
So we take 22-4 and add 36-6, and we come up with 58-10.
A lot of good quivers, a lot of good arrows in the quiver. So I definitely. All right, Niners are going down to Arizona. It looks like Brock Purdy's going to start this weekend, and I got caught taking Arizona last week. I just thought that was a really good spot for him. It was a great spot until about the game started, and then it wasn't a good spot so much anymore. 2 defensive touchdowns, not the way to go about business if you're Arizona. It was like 28-0 before I could actually settle down and watch some of the game. I was like, good Lord, this game's over. It's over already. So now they go back.
Now look at there it is. You just heard that you were down 28-0 and came right on your lap saying it's
like, let me come make it better. Let me come make it better. So now they go back home. Brock Purdy's back. Looks like Ricky Pearsall might be back as well. So I don't know. I guess I want to take the Niners here. They're kind of in a weird spot for me. Like, they've hung in there so long this year. And they've won games they really didn't have any business winning. Mac Jones has been fantastic. The defense has been surprising in spots where they've been really good and able to really get something done without much there. And all due respect to the guys, I mean, not get much done when you usually have Bosa and Warner. I understand they're NFL players. They're all really good. But relatively speaking, I don't know how to judge this one, because if you don't get pressure on Brissett, he could certainly hurt you. But that Arizona thing seems to be going the wrong way at this point. And the Niners, that's the one thing I could say about the Niners, Dennis. The culture must be pretty good in the locker room because they've hung in there, they've fought, they've battled. Even last week, when their defense couldn't stop the Rams for the life of them. Mac Jones and the offense hung in there and gave him a chance and kept scoring, trying to give him a chance. So I like what they have in terms of like culture there. And they're laying 2.5, 3. I don't know what Purdy's going to be like. I always worry about that. Everybody thinks a guy coming back for the first time is going to be like, oh, he's back. We're good. Well, everybody has some rust, and you got to work your way through it. So I don't know if he's going to come back and be the Brock Purdy we expect to be right off the bat. I don't know that I'll take this one. I'd like to take the Niners, but I'm not sure I will. You see any edges here?
Yes.
Okay.
Here's the thing. If we don't have this game as a play, I'll root for the 49ers because I think this puts Purdy in a horrible spot. Because the truth of the matter is going into Arizona as a favorite against a team you edged by 1 point in a division game against a team, Arizona against San Francisco, that has dominated you in recent years, is just a horrible spot. Add to it that the Cardinals are coming off that blowout loss last week to Seattle, which will obviously get their attention. And the thing about Arizona is they've been so competitive in so many games. They were competitive against Indianapolis 3 weeks ago. Yep. They covered the spread the following week, right? And then they go into Seattle. People say, well, they got a shot here. No, they didn't. They got blown out. Well, okay. Now they come off that game. And the prior week, obviously, they beat Dallas on Monday night, which took all the pressure off them and put them into Seattle thinking, yeah, we're confident because we haven't got blown out at all. Our points for and points against are real close and not indicative of our one-loss record. Well, nothing's worse than a confident underdog. And that's what you had last week in Seattle. They thought they were going to be compete against Seattle, 7-point underdogs or not. They thought they were going to be in that game. And they were out of it before Tom got to even see the TV, and
really,
so in that situation,
very sad.
Now you take them back home. Oh, this is a great spot for Arizona. This is a great spot against the 49ers. And Brissett is a totally capable quarterback. We saw that in prior games. I don't know if he'll have this game. I want to see how the numbers come in tonight.
Yeah.
I'll do the rest of the work on the game. And as I say, if we don't have the game, I'll be rooting for Purdy because I would hate to have him saddled with you lost and you're the backup is 4-2 or whatever he is.
Yeah, exactly.
And then start a ridiculous quarterback controversy that he doesn't deserve. And so I will be rooting for the 49ers because I like Brock and I hope things work out for him. I hope he comes back strong, and I hope if we're not on the Cardinals, he lights the Cardinals up. But if we're on this game, it'll be on the Cardinals.
Got it. All right. One, I don't think I have an interest in. I haven't really looked at this game because I just thought, I don't want to waste my time looking into this game trying to find an edge when I don't know that there is an edge.
Those are the best, Tom. Those are always the best. The ones you go, I didn't want to look at.
No. This is the game of the week, the Rams Seattle.
Yeah.
And that one just seems like, hey, they're two really good teams. Let's make the Rams a stock 3. And just see where it goes. And it's kind of the juice. The juice 3 has bounced back and forth a little bit. They're the two best teams in the NFC West. They're two of the best teams in the NFC. Sam Darnold's had a great year. So has Stafford. I think Seattle's defense may be a little bit better. Not much. Rams offense maybe a little bit better, not much. I don't know that there's a whole lot there to separate these two teams. And it's just a game, Dennis, where I'm like, okay, what's going to decide this game? Is it going to be a turnover? Is it going to be a special teams blunder? Is it going to be a call from an official? Or is it going to be something that, we didn't factor in? Somebody having a great game there or makes a great play. Again, this is just one of those games where I think, okay, I just want to sit back and watch this game. I don't want to have a wager on it. How about you?
I might have a wager on this one.
Okay.
and it's interesting. Seattle has played so well, and Darnell has played so well, but the Rams might be the best team in football. They started out 1-4 last year and made it to the playoffs and blew away the Vikings in the first round and gave the Eagles a tougher game than anyone else did in the postseason. Yeah. And now we get to a situation this year where they lost that 49er game. We know how close they were to possibly winning it when they met the first time down in LA. And since then they went, oh, no, we're back. We're not messing around now. They're not going to give up first place. They're not going to surrender first place to Seattle on the road. The Rams are the better team, the better history. I love their coach. Nothing against the Seattle coach. Yeah. Heck of a job up there, but just the depth of confidence. Now, on the other side of the coin, you don't get a home field advantage with Los Angeles.
No, you don't.
And so you're paying the price on the spread for being at home without having a home field advantage.
Yep.
And that's on my charts, a bit of a disadvantage, so that makes a play tougher than it could be if we just had the kind of advantage that the Broncos have in Mile High, or, that the Bills do it, at their stadium. You don't get that kind of advantage here, but I don't think they need it. I think they're just the better team with the more experience. And I can't see Seattle going into LA and taking first place away from the Rams. So the Rams win. Will it be by 3 or more? Well, that's why they have point spreads. That makes it a tougher, dicey call. But I'm on the Rams side in this game.
Okay. Yeah, it's incredible. The Rams and the Chargers play 17 road games a year. I mean, it's insane. It really is. Like, I don't know how well Seattle fans travel, but I know Niner fans go down there and take over that stadium. Like, when you have to go to a silent count in your home stadium, that's a problem. That's a problem.
Well, think of this too, Tom. The Rams played the playoff game against Minnesota last year on a neutral field.
Yeah,
because Violets in Southern California, they played in Arizona. They blew them away on a neutral field.
Yeah,
the Rams ought to skip home field. They ought to just tour stadiums. The Cardinals aren't at home this week. We'll use the Cardinals stadium.
Barnstorming?
We'll go to Levi when the 49ers are out of town. Just move it around.
They're like neutral field. We play on a neutral field 9 times a year. Yeah. What are you talking about?
Play in Europe each week.
Oh my God. All right. Let me ask you about the dog of the week, but this isn't like the dog. And I always tell people this. If a game has value, it has value. It doesn't matter if it's a good game, bad game. It doesn't really matter. Just, can you find some value in this one? Can you find value in the Texans Titans?
Oh yeah.
Well, I know. How did I know that game you're going to be able to find value in? Because I know Dennis and I know the games he likes.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah.
You say you're finding value in the Titans, I may slowly close this computer up. And I'm going to tell Pam too. I'm going to tell Pam you're taking the Titans.
I had fun ending my article last night on the Jets Patriots matchup, because I wrote about the dominance that the Patriots are and how good they are. And yet this is too flat. This would be a Jets kind of play plus the 13 points, a loaded line. Yep. And I said, wait a minute. The point spread police are here. He's bigger than me, and he's telling me to back away from the keyboard, and I had so much fun saying, but end of the article right there, without picking it. And not I thought it was wonderful that the game landed on the 13-point line.
Yep.
After all that, because it really was a game. We'll get back to the game you just asked about in a minute with Tennessee, but I do want to point out this stat on the New England Patriots, because they're not playing, obviously, because they played last night, so we won't get to it otherwise.
Yep.
And I wrote about it, so you probably saw it, but teams, there was only, prior to this season, 5 teams in NFL history that won 7 or more consecutive games, scoring at least 23 points and giving up 23 or less points. Those 5 teams, let's see if I can remember, beginning in 1949 was the Philadelphia Eagles. They won the NFL championship. In 1961, the Houston Oilers of the old AFL, they won the championship. 3 times in the Super Bowl era, teams did it. The 49ers in 84, the Rams in 99, and the Philadelphia Eagles last year did it. This time, last night, the Patriots won their 8th straight game, scoring 23 or more points and allowing less than 23, which puts them the 6th team to do it. The first 5 won their league championships. So get down on the Patriots to win the Super Bowl. There it is. I mean, that's just one stat, and I'm not sure that's the reason, but it is most interesting that stat is pointed to the championship of the league every time. And the Patriots are the 6th team to do it. Now back to the Tennessee Titans. We've got a Titans game here that the Titans are still a horrible football team. People can say, well, this is improved and they're doing better here. And, Cam is coming around. Their defense is tough. Yeah, they're a horrible football team. They've been outscored by the most points in the league, and they've won 2 games. This is not, 1 or 2 games. This is not, this team isn't going anywhere. And now, they're playing the Houston Texans. And I think the Houston Texans, which came down to the 4th quarter last, and they were looking down the gun barrel, they lose that game, they can say goodbye to the outside playoff chances of trying to compensate for the horrible start they had where they lost so many games so close. 1 point to Tampa Bay, a late touchdown against Jacksonville, a late field goal that they gave up 11 unanswered points in the 4th quarter against Denver. All those games could have been wins, were all losses. And that all took them out. And had they lost last week to the Texans, the Texans, if they would have lost to the Jacksonville
Jaguars,
the party was over. And yet they scored, 23 4th quarter points to overcome a 19-point deficit and I guess 26 points because they ended up winning 36-29. That was just a team on the cusp of being eliminated that said, no, we're not going to get eliminated. This is where we draw the line in the sand. Now, the next week, I wish we had C.J. Stroud back. That would be the preference. And if we did have C.J. Stroud back, we'd be laying 7 or 8 points. Instead, we have Davis Miles starting at quarterback again. It's a little dicey to take a young quarterback. He's experienced, but he's obviously always been a backup. Now you get him in a situation where he's coming off that tremendous come-from-behind win last week. Do you think, and Lulu, what do you think? Do you think that he could actually do this? Do you think he could?
Lulu doesn't care. She just knows it's about lunchtime.
Is it getting to be
lunchtime? That's what Lulu knows.
So anyway, what I'm saying is this. I think the Houston Texans are on that path where teams that don't succeed early in the season, I can see it on my charts. I got every team, I can see a lot of L's. The first half of the season are usually followed by a lot of W's the second half of the season. And I'm looking at the Houston Texans being a team that's going to pick up a lot of W's from here on out. And one of them will be against the Tennessee Titans this week.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. It scares me a little bit with Mills being the quarterback, but he put up 292 yards last week, and the defense is really good. The Texans have a really good defense.
The best defense in football. They're offense, but last week we fell double digits behind because of the special teams and the offense turning the ball over. That's what put them in the hole. The defense is tough as nails.
Yeah. All right. Let me ask you one last. Well, I want to ask you one last one. Then I'll let you pick a game if we haven't already picked the game that you really like.
We haven't yet.
Because we had Houston last week, and that was a fun one. That was a nice one to be that far behind and come back and win. Even though I knew that Ogden was suffering in the meantime, I was like, that's a small price to pay to win a bet. But this week, I like his Jaguars against the Chargers. at home. I still don't think Lawrence is any good. Like I think Lawrence is, although I think he's better than my son thinks he is. My son just shakes his head every time I mention Trevor Lawrence. But I go, great
Lawrence too.
Great,
what is it about our kids, Tom?
Great hair. No. But I like him this week. I like him this week against the Chargers. I don't know. I mean, I thought the Chargers were one of the best teams in the NFL, like after the first month of the season. And then after that, and I know it's because, look, it's hard for Herbert to do what he needs to do with both your left tackles out, right? Alt's out, Slater's out. It's tough. Then you lose both of your running backs, although that kid Vidal's not doing too bad for him. The running back, I think the rookie running back out of Troy. But that's a long flight all the way to Jackson. I mean, of course, it's a long flight. It's Jacksonville. And I think the Jaguars are feeling like we kind of let one get away last week. And the Jaguars' defense is usually pretty reliable. Last week it wasn't. But I think it's going to be against the Chargers at home this week. How do you see this one?
Yeah, this is a great spot for the Chargers to lose in. And that's because last week when they played Pittsburgh, that was a 50-50 proposition for most of the bettors. I'm sorry I didn't come with the Chargers last week because I really did like it. But I didn't pull the trigger on it because I don't have Pittsburgh figured out at all. And so you have to admit sometimes, I don't know, and so I let that game go, even though I thought the Chargers got it easy, 25-10. So now we got a situation where the Chargers have that win easy. This Charger team has been very, I use the term immature in how they've been playing. They go and have trouble against the Miami Dolphins in Miami when they shouldn't have had to. They lose at home to Washington when the Commanders are no good. And that week everybody bet on the Chargers. So many people bet on the Chargers. I got off it. I said I'm not going to stand in that line. I loved the Chargers early in the week. I thought they were as good of a play that there could be that week. Everybody was on the wise guys, the guys in the casinos, the parlay players. I couldn't find anybody that didn't say, oh, yeah, the Chargers. And I went, okay, have fun with that. I don't get in those long lines, And I skipped it, which was great. Even though when we were down, I had 10-0 going into late in the first half, I went, why didn't I just take the Chargers? Well, I didn't take them because they ended up losing 24-10. Yeah. So now you take the Chargers, this immature team, you take them off a big win in first place, looking at Denver, the team they're tied with, probably going to get beat that night by Kansas City. So people are looking at that as, I'm sure it gets in your mind, well, we could be alone in first place. All we have to do is beat Jacksonville. Too bad. Not going to happen. Jacksonville, I think, is a real good play.
Yeah, I like Jacksonville. All right, is there one we forgot that intrigues you?
There's this. In the old days when I used to, crank games up to 10-rated games and 9-rated games and things like this.
You don't do that anymore. Why don't you do that anymore?
I don't.
And I like the fact that you don't do that anymore. I like the 5s and the 4s, and I don't need the 10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
Here's what happened. I had people betting double on the top picks. And so when I read a 10-rated top pick, it better darn win because they're putting 20 units on it. And then on 4 of the games, they're putting 4 units each. I go 4-1 and they lose 4 units. It just didn't make economic sense. It was great for advertising campaigns, as you know. You can find ads in the program in August that say our top pick of the year is Denver over Kansas City in week 11 because that's what they do. They pick a game that's attractive and they advertise it 6 months in advance that's their top pick of the year. And so I always have kind of known, that even being a victim of doing it myself, that anytime you advertise top picks of the years and plays of this and plays of the century, it's an advertising campaign. It's not an investment. And so I became more conservative a few years ago and just started saying, no. I might have a game that I rate a 6 now and then because I'm thinking, go after this one. There it is. And that might be this game. And that is this week when the Atlanta Falcons host the Carolina Panthers, because we have a situation here where Carolina 2 weeks ago beat Green Bay, and then surprise, surprise, they lose to the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah,
of course they lose to the New Orleans Saints. You know, they're a young team. They had a big win. They thought they'd reached a stage where they could throw their helmets on the middle of the field. Now you take the Atlanta Falcons, a team that's one less than their talent dictates. So I'm saying the Carolina's 5 wins are a step ahead of their actual talent, and that the Atlanta Falcons' 3 wins are well below their actual talent. We also have Atlanta losing 4 in a row since they upset the Buffalo Bills. Well, upsetting the Buffalo Bills for Atlanta is on a par with Carolina upsetting the Green Bay Packers in Green Bay.
Yeah.
What we have is the Panthers, early on after their big win, and still overrated, and an Atlanta team that, hey, they got edged by New England 2 weeks ago by 1 point. They went to overtime against the Indianapolis Colts. Those might be the 2 best teams in football. They go on a neutral field in Berlin, was it, that they played last week? That that they went overtime in that game, and now we're in a situation where they're at home and they're playing a Carolina team that got their first win of the season in week 3, 30-0 over Atlanta. Oh man. Show me something against this play, and I'll refute it. This is the Atlanta Falcons big.
The Atlanta Falcons, Michael Penix, let's go. Raheem Morris, let's get it done. Yeah, I kind of like that one too. I kind of like it. I don't love betting on the Falcons, but I do like this spot. I absolutely do like this spot. Dennis, it was great to see you last night.
Yeah, it really went well. I was concerned that it was raining outside, and that wasn't going to stimulate attendance, and I was aware of that. But the place filled up. And,
it did.
And as I told you already, I really appreciated you being there.
Oh, of course.
I thought the audience, I mean, we even had a former Raider there.
You did.
Rich did. And so it was, and the first thing is, one of the people that was in charge of the event said, that guy over there has a Super Bowl ring on. That was the first thing they know. It's a sparkling coming in the door. He's got a Super Bowl ring on. Rich Martini was there last night. In any case, I really enjoyed the event. I love meeting with people, and it was a bright crowd. They had some good questions, and they cared about football. And so I had a great time. I really enjoyed it. And as I say, again, I appreciate you being there, Tom. Thanks.
Absolutely. Do you have a copy of your book laying around? You can just show people if they want to find it. Where can they find it if they want to grab a copy of your book?
Al Davis to Win. There it is. It's on Amazon. It's on Amazon.
Go to Amazon. Check it out.
They've reduced the price. I don't have any control over that. Amazon does what they do. So it started out $39. Now it's less than that. So
there you go. Get in there. It's good. Good gift. It's Christmas time.
So here's the big question: when are you going to read it, Tom?
Soon. Yeah. It's hard for me. I don't read as much as I'd like, especially during basketball season. There's Warriors games, there's Sharks games I want to watch, and of course there's football games. So during the summer, I try to read. You know what? That's why I wouldn't mind COVID coming back, because then I could get a lot of reading done, Dennis. If COVID came back and they shut down sports for a while, I could really start to dig in to all the books I've been putting off that I want to read. And I don't know, I don't need the 2 years of COVID. If I could dial it up for maybe just give me, I don't know, 7 weeks of COVID. That would work perfect for me. Then we won't have to disrupt the schedule too much. We'll still get March Madness. We'll still get all the playoffs. Maybe wait till after the Super Bowl. Then give me 7 weeks of COVID. Then I can get my book reading done. and then we're back.
Well, I was never a reader. In fact, in college, I thought the Cliff Notes were long. I didn't do, I mean, I was not a reader. And yet, and it kind of coincided with COVID when we had it, I started reading and I found something amazing. There's a lot of good information in books. I had no idea, and so, I've become an avid reader. In fact, in college, I didn't go to law school, even though that's what everybody said I should do. Oh, you'd make a good lawyer. You should go to law school. And I was thinking about it, but I looked at it and said, too much reading. Too much reading in law school. I don't like to read. I'm not going to put myself in a position where I'm going to be upset all the time that I have to do all that reading. If I had the reading a competence that I have today, I would have gone to law school. That would have kept me out of it. That was the reason. I just didn't want to do that much reading. Now, I told you when we talked a couple weeks ago, I'm reading 1929. Yeah, I finished 1929, and then I also read the Church of, where is it there? Church of Hate. It's a Church of Church. The State of Hate. Fascinating book. Really? Fascinating book about how the right has weaponized religion and how it's misinterpreted things. And the writer of that book, his father was a Jesuit priest and his mother was a nun. And they met in Africa when the man was in the hospital and she was a nurse in Africa. And they became attracted to each other, even though obviously they had commitments that prevented a relationship. And then they had this 3-year relationship, long distance. And finally they looked at each other and said, I love you. I'd like to be with you. And so he left the priesthood and she left the nunnery, and they became husband and wife and had 3 kids. And this one wrote the book. And I call it, Cliff Notes for the Bible, because he takes the Bible and fascinating study on how religion is used today. And totally misinterprets what's in the Bible. And, and what's, we always know, I mean, take care of the poor. How's that going for Mike Johnson?
Exactly.
Well, he preaches that, he's the religious type, Really? Really?
Yeah.
Religious type? Not so much.
Not so much. Yeah. The last book I read was the Earl Weaver biography, which is really, really good. And I was grinding my way through it's called The Hammer of the Witches. And it's about the early early witch hunts over in Europe. And it's a grind to read. It really is. Because they translated it from the original text. So it's not so much a story about it. It's how they went about prosecuting suspected witches. And it's kind of crazy that people thought that way. And some people accepted that. Like I'm like, good Lord, this is like not that long ago. I mean, it's 1,000 years, but in terms of how long the earth's been around there, like, it's unbelievable. You're like, people bought this? Like, oh yeah. A lot of people believed in this stuff. Not everybody, of course, but so yeah, it's more like a text than it is like a flowing book. So it's kind of hard to get through. I'm trying to get through it.
That happened for me. I read the book about the Nazis and the entire thing, and it's a Bible-sized book, and it was long. And like that, Tom, it was hard to read because it wasn't a story. 1929, the way that he does it, it's like a novel. You're learning about the economic system, but it reads like a novel. It's
I want to get that.
Enjoyable. Totally.
No, I'll definitely get that.
And so some of them you feel like you're reading a textbook. And you're learning something, but it's not nearly with the alacrity that you can fly through a book like that Sorkin wrote.
Exactly. Well, have a great weekend. Let's see if we can get some winners, and I'll look forward to
Let's
talking
do
to you
that.
again next Friday.
Look forward to it, Tom. Have a
Thanks,
good week.
Dennis. All right,
Thanks,
you too. All right, bye-bye. Dennis Ranahan, Quackseye Sports, picksfootball.com, and you can go to Amazon, grab his book, Al Davis for the Win. If you have like a Raider fan and you haven't got him a gift, so yeah, Antonio. Liv's like ready. She's like been ready for 15 minutes now. She's been pretty good though. She's been pretty patient with me. This has been a long, kind of a long show, but she's happy. She's just chilling outside, and she'll be even happier when I get off the mic. Huh. Any questions? We have any comments we want to throw out there? You want to get into the Niner game this weekend? We can do that. I mean, it sounds great, Mark, but man, that's 9.7. That's rough. 9.7. That's a big beer. That's a big beer. But I've heard a Crooked Goat. Grain and Blood. That's an interesting name for a beverage. But maybe I'll get it. Maybe I'll try to find it somewhere, and I can drink half and give half to my buddy when he's over. But I don't drink big beers as much anymore as I used to. Like I used to love doubles and triples. I usually dial it back, and pale ales are more my style. IPAs 7 in the 6s I'll go for. Lagers, pilsners, of course. But man, I'll look for it though. I've heard about that brewery, and I wouldn't mind trying it. But boo, close to 10. That'll get you. That'll definitely get you. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how the Niners do this week. I still it doesn't surprise me that there are those that think maybe they could get rid of Purdy and keep Jones. And I don't want to take anything away from Jones. Jones been good this year. He's not Purdy. He's not as good as Purdy. Purdy's better. Purdy. I mean, again, I've talked about this for the last year or so. Those people that didn't believe Purdy was going to end up being a good quarterback are still hanging on to that notion. And they're going to keep hanging on to it. And anytime he has a bad game or some bad throws, they're going to say, yeah, he's not the guy. He's not the guy. He shouldn't be making $50 million. Well, guess what? In a couple of years, $50 million is going to be like the 10th highest paid guy. And so Jokic for MVP already? 12 games in? 12 games in, Jokic for MVP? I didn't know we were going to take that left turn. I took Dallas, by the way. I took Dallas minus 3.5. And so the Raiders are a mess. And I don't trust them. Now, Dallas defense isn't great. And I'm not a big fan of laying points on the road with a mediocre defense. So, but the Raiders are just Raiders. Raiders are the Raiders. That's all you need to say right now. So I just think their offense will put up Raiders defense no good either. I mean, Brock Bowers being back helps. Had a monster game 2 games ago, not so much last game. But yeah, I took Dallas. I like Dallas minus 3.5 in that game. 4, I mean, you should be able to get a 3.5, I would think. Even low juice 3.5. In fact, today I saw 3. It was juiced up. It was like 3 minus 20. But yeah, don't see if you can find wait. See if you can find better than the 4. And I think you can find better than the 4 out there. And so, but yeah, there's a chance Purdy comes back and isn't great this weekend. I mean, he could be rusty. Been out damn near half the year, more than half the year. So I just think they're better, but they need this one. This will put them 4-1 in the division. Again, they have some games that they're going to have a chance to win. They're going to be favored. They're going to be favored Tennessee at home. probably going to be favored at Cleveland. Probably going to be favored. They will be favored Carolina at home. So they're going to have some games. I think Bears at home too. That'll be an interesting one. That'll be within a field goal one way or the other, I would think. Unless the Niners just start playing really well or the Bears start tanking. But now the Rams game ought to be good this weekend. Like, what am I? We got the Warrior game tonight too. That was a great. What great? I was going to say great game. It was a really good game. Really good game. Steph's incredible. It'll be interesting to see if Kuminga is healthy, and if he is, how much he plays. He didn't play at all in the second half, and that's when they played their best basketball in the second half. So Kuminga is Brandon Belt. Just mention Kuminga. People are interested in Kuminga. It's like Kuminga. I'll say what I said at the beginning of the year. And I don't say it all the time because, look, I think Kuminga's played good. The first 5 games of the season, I thought he played really well. It's just, no matter what I say, no matter what you hear me say about Kuminga, always know that I feel he should go somewhere else. Just know that. Always know that I feel he should go somewhere else. He'd be better for it. The Warriors would be better for it. I'm not going to say that all the time because I want to give him credit for good games and talk about his bad, whatever. I got to keep it micro. It can't always be macro because then it's always come on there. He could have 30, 20, and 15. I go, yeah, he should be better somewhere else. But that's how I feel. So know that. Yeah, Texas, Georgia will be interesting. What happens if Texas loses to Georgia and then beats A&M? Are we going to have a 3-loss team in the playoffs? Is Texas going to make the playoffs? Pitt's been playing good. They got that freshman quarterback who's been playing really well. Notre Dame is like, always remember the playoffs are a TV show. The playoffs are a TV show. So they want big brands. They want Notre Dame to be there. Who's Notre Dame beaten? USC? Lost to A&M. Lost to Miami. I don't think – does Notre Dame beat anybody worthwhile? I'd have to look. I don't think they have. I'd like to think Pittsburgh will get to Carr more so than anybody else can get to Carr. Like, Pittsburgh does a pretty good job of getting to the quarterback. And Pittsburgh's played some pretty good ball recently. So I'd like to take Pittsburgh, but man, Notre Dame's been a covering machine. There you go, coming out. They've been a covering machine. I had Navy last week. When I got to 28, I go, hey, let's try some Navy. Oh, only down 10 at half. Okay, looking like, and then it was over. Halfway into the third, it was over. I was like, well, that was fun. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed being right there until halftime and then gone. So before I get back to the Warriors, Andis was asking what I'm keeping an eye on in college football, like what I'll be watching tomorrow. I mean, I'll probably watch the games tonight after I watch the Warriors game. Notre Dame Pitt, I'm going to keep an eye on that. Arizona Cincy, because, Arizona, but not saying that's going to be a big game by any means. Iowa USC, that's going to be interesting in that it's a defense first versus offense first team, and it's going to be in the rain in LA. Never rains in LA. Yes, it does. Tomorrow it's going to rain in LA. So USC's still alive possibly for a playoff bid. Will they get there? We'll have to see. Depends on how they do against Oregon. They got Oregon next week. And if they win that one, then they're going to finish up with 2 losses. They're going to finish up at 10-2. Possible. What's the other game I'm going to keep an eye on? Texas, Georgia, of course. That's the big one in the evening. Florida, Ole Miss. Nah, I'm tired of watching Florida. I've watched Florida way too often this year. I have no interest in watching any more Florida. Boise, San Diego State, maybe. Watch that one. But, yeah, it's not a great slate of college hoops. So, but I am looking forward to watching some of the games on Sunday. Not a game, of course. But I'm looking forward to watching Seattle and the Rams. Too bad they're both at 105. And then the Chiefs Broncos are on at 125. God dang. We got like two really good. Like, I'm not going to say the Niners and Arizona is a really good game. No one cares about that outside of Arizona in the Bay Area. Like, that is not a big game. That's not going to be your Fox game of the week. Fox game of the week is going to be Seattle and the Rams. And then the CBS big game with Romo and Nance will be the Chiefs and the Broncos. Like, those would be the games I'd be watching if I just wanted to watch really good football. But we'll have the Niners on, and the other TV will bounce back and forth between the Seahawks, Rams, and Chiefs and Broncos. So, yeah, this could work out great for the Warriors. They could split in San Antonio and then not have to worry about that cup nonsense, because tonight's a cup game. I don't know what the court looks like in San Antonio. You will know it's a cup game when you look at the court. The courts are hideous. The courts are meant to burn your irises out of your head. They're just grotesque. So I don't know what San Antonio has in store for us tonight for a cup game, but tonight is a cup game. But you could split in San Antonio and lose the cup game, which is perfect. You don't have to deal with that nonsense. So we'll see. I would imagine San Antonio probably have a better plan for Steph, although I thought Steph did a great job of not settling for threes. Like, he scored a lot of his buckets on the interior and the free throw line, getting fouled, going to the rim, because he really hasn't had it the last couple games or last game from three. He was not good. Well, he wasn't good it was the last two games. Oklahoma City, he didn't shoot well from three either. So the last couple games, he struggled from three. Unlike the game in Oklahoma City, he was still able to score in San Antonio by getting to the rim, scoring mid-range. Like, you give him a wide-open 17-footer, you just go back on defense. That's absolutely a bucket. Butler had a fantastic game as well. Draymond didn't shoot the ball where the damn, but he did a really, really good job on Wembanyama. Chased him around. Wembanyama hit some tough shots on him, but he forced him to really kind of scuffle for most of the game. Yeah, Dre was 0 for 7 from 3. But yeah, he was great on defense. You'll take that. You'd like him to make a few of those threes, of course, but he's out there for his defense and his IQ. That's what he's out there for. That's still his best quality, or his two best qualities. So be interesting to see the adjustment the teams make tonight. Fox was not good. Fox was not good offensively. Fox was not good defensively. So we'll see if he's a little bit better tonight. Castle is really good. Now they're missing Dylan Harper, the number 2 overall draft pick out of Rutgers. He didn't play either. So usually I would and again, I don't really wager on the NBA, but if I did, I'd probably go Spurs, just because usually you just take a split. You figure a team's not going to go in, especially on the road, win both games on the road against a quality team. But when Steph's doing Steph things, anything's possible. But it'll be fun to watch just because it's Wemby and just because it's Steph. And so, all right, if you got a few more comments, we can do that. If not, I'm gonna get her fed, and I gotta say, she's been very good today. I mean, she's hogged the camera a little bit, but other than that, she's been solid. I got the other part of the police squad over here. Pippi just kind of sneaking around, seeing what's going on. And so, Jeremy Appel going to join us. Nice. Monday will be fun. Football, Sunday, Bergie will be back. We'll find out a little bit about his Australian, New Zealand trip. And then we'll talk some Niners, Cardinals, of course. And then maybe a little Rams, Seahawks, Chiefs, Broncos. But it'll be fun to have Berg back to do the show. It's supposed to be raining, too. So I might have to figure out this canopy and get it all situated so we're not getting rained on. But we'll get that taken care of, because we are going to do it out here. Until it gets to a point where it's too cold, too rainy, too windy, whatever, I'm going to do the show out here. I've already made that decision. I like being outside. It's fun doing the show outside. I love doing it with the fire pit. Fire pit's going to be sweet. On Sunday night, it'll be dark by the time we get out here, so that's going to be great. Yeah, so I want to be outside. Don't want to do this. I don't want to do the show inside. So Sunday night we will be back, Bergie and I, and then Monday Jeremy Affelt and Brent Jones. A little Giants hit for you, a little Niner hit for you. So that'll be fun. Looking forward to it. All right, if that's it. If everybody's done, have a great weekend. I appreciate you guys stopping by and joining the show. Like, subscribe if that hits you. And again, I'm going to mention field work because they are your. Look, she's even excited. Field work, your official non-alcoholic craft beer of the San Jose Sharks. If Tyler Toffoli scores or has an assist, you can go to field work. Get yourself 50% off your next draft beer or non-alcoholic beverage. He did not score last night because nobody scored last night. So you don't have to worry about it. Nobody's getting 50% off today. Nobody's getting nothing today. Sharks didn't get anything last night. You get nothing today. And I got to say, I've enjoyed being out here and having I had the headliner and then I got the day money. That's the grapefruit blonde. You might like that if you look at Lou. You liking that non-alcoholic beverage? Okay. We're in then. You're definitely okay, god dang it. I don't know why you're so excited now. You're definitely in for some field work, aren't you? Yes, you are. Should we also mention that you can get pulp at the tank? Yeah. If you want to add a little octane to your beverage, you can get some pulp too. Here you go. Okay. I know. You're ready to go. You're ready to go. I'm ready to go. And you've been really, really good. Say goodbye to everybody. It's time to go feed the beast. See ya.